What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below as it's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We have some good news and some bad news to talk about here today. So we're going to start with the bad news, and then we'll transition into the good news here in this video. First, let's start with the bad news, and that is with how bad inflation is. And that's because March numbers are starting to come in now with March being over, and February and March numbers starting to come in here to show how bad inflation is here. Yeah, so the newest inflation numbers coming in here showing that new inflation numbers, not including gas and energy numbers and food numbers. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge rose 5.4% in February, the highest since 1983. Yeah. And the Federal Reserve officials are considering the PCE gauge to be the most reliable inflation indicator. Yeah. And this is because gas can literally vary by the day, which we'll get to here in a moment. That has to do with our good news. Jobless claims also edged higher last week to 202,000 in 1 week, above the average estimate. Yeah, so the Federal Reserve's their favorite inflation measure showed intensifying price pressures. This was their newest inflation gauge that was just released here. It's a February inflation gauge that was just released here now on April 1st, rising to its highest annual level since 1983. They just reported here. Excluding food and energy prices, the personal consumption expenditure price index increased 5.4% from the same period in 2021. Including gas and groceries, the headline measure jumped 6.4%, the fastest pace since 1982. Yeah, it was actually a touch lower than they expected it to be 5.5%, the Dow Jones estimated. On a monthly basis, the gauge was up 0.4% just on a monthly basis. The price of goods rose 1.1% for the month, which means that the price of goods is really on pace to go up by 12% per year. That's extremely, extremely high. I'll give you a couple other headlines here to give you guys an idea of what's going on around the world. In European inflation soars to a record 7.5% on fuel and food costs. This headline here from yesterday. Inflation in Europe has soared to another record level as well. This a lot of people see. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's whoever's fault. It's Biden's fault. It's Congress's fault. It's whatever." But a lot of people don't realize, they probably do if they watch this show. Um, it's the stimulus checks fault. It's whatever. This is going on all around the world. You could see here in Europe, they're dealing with record inflation as well, the highest in decades as well, 7.5%. It's going to continue to go up here as well until they get a handle on it as well. In Russia, inflation in Russia climbs above 15.6%. Literally more than double what we're dealing with here. Imagine if you were in Russia. Uh, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, inflation is one of the least of their worries, and here it's the number one worry that we're dealing with based on recent polls. It's the number one concern of Americans right now, and I mean, if you lived in Russia, I mean, it's more than double, or it maybe double what we're dealing with here in the United States. But I mean, think about the war could probably be worse or is worse, and yet their inflation is twice as bad as what we're dealing with, and twice as bad as what Europe is dealing with. And I mean, if you think inflation's bad here, I mean, you see the headline that our CPE index just rose to 5.4%, and it was 6 point, what was it, 3%, including gas and energy. And we were at 7.9% for last month overall. And Europe is at 7.5% on food and fuel. There's several different kind of indicators here, right? But it gives you a general range of kind of the different indicators that we're in, right? And Europe kind of in the same range as well, right? Um, Russia's twice that. Not to mention what else they're dealing with. And, we have multiple states and cities and counties, and the president and Congress, literally have passed, well, three stimulus checks already: rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, extra SNAP assistance. You think they're passing stimulus checks over there in Russia? I mean, you give me your guess, 'cause I don't follow stimulus checks over in Russia, but I don't think Putin's handing out stimulus checks to the residents of Russia, or rent assistance and mortgage assistance and utility assistance, SNAP assistance. Uh, I do know that they're drafting people to join their army, though. Yeah. In fact, they're doing it every single year. So, yeah. Yeah, a little bit different there. Meanwhile, we have multiple different states that are already passing stimulus checks, passing suspension of gas tax, lowering state taxes. In fact, in the next video, I'll have multiple new states here with brand new details on a lot of that stuff here coming in the next video for you guys. Don't miss out on that. Um, it's just a world of difference, right? World of difference. Not even counting inflation, right? But let's get into a little bit of good news. How about some good news for once? Well, besides the states that are really stepping up, a lot of states have really been doing a good job. Really been doing a good job here. Let's have some other good news here. I don't even know if you're expecting this. Maybe. Here we go. The price of oil has posted its biggest weekly drop in more than 10 years. Yeah, here, cue the sound. Yeah, that's the sound of oil, the bottom falling out of it. Yeah. So the price of oil has now dropped to below $99 a barrel currently. Dun dun dun. Cue Joe Manchin sound, right? Uh, yeah, the price of WTI crude here down below $99 a barrel, and the price of Brent crude down to 104. Remember that the price of Brent crude peaked previously, I don't know, about a month ago, maybe at this point, around 140. 140. Now it's at 104. And the price of WTI crude was around, it's always a little bit lower. Maybe it peaked at 135. 135. It's always around $5 less here. So these are the two main indicators. You have natural gas there and heating oil as well. But these are the two main indicators here that we track for the price of oil. And remember, the price of oil is directly tied, or supposed to be, to the price of gas and the price of diesel. So let's head on over to where we are now with those prices. Yeah, so you could see that national prices on gas are just barely, it's the same old story. If you've been watching my channel here, you know the deal, right? You know the drill. If you if you've ever been in the army, I haven't, but my brother has. Stop and give me 20. Yeah, you know the drill here. The price of gas goes up quickly, like literally overnight or in 48 hours. It goes up really, really fast and it goes down at a snail's pace. At a snail's pace. So, and it's no different this time around. So, the price of regular gas dropping by about a penny per day right now. Down a penny from yesterday, down a penny from the day before. Diesel starting to come down now again. It was literally just at the all-time high like 2 days ago, which is surprising because, and you can see down here, the all-time high was 513, which was actually 3 weeks ago or so at 513, and 433 was the all-time high for regular unleaded. So 513 and 433, 513 for diesel. Remember, this is averages, okay? Averages for the US. But 513, remember, yesterday was 511.7, almost 512. So yesterday, we were only 1 cent away from the all-time high, but look at where the price of oil is today. It's nowhere near the all-time high. This is exactly why members of Congress want to tax the ever-loving blank out of, for lack of a better family friendly show. This is why they want to tax big oil companies on their profits over and above their normal profits, because they're taking advantage of you and me and poor people and people that are struggling to survive. And it's raising the cost of everything. And this is going on in Europe and this is going on in everywhere. So if the price of oil is down to $99 a barrel, why is diesel 2 cents away from its all-time high ever? This just makes my blood boil. And it should make your blood boil too. Because this has nothing to do with Democrats, Republicans, Biden, Trump. Oil's at $99 a barrel or 104, depending on which oil you're looking at. There's two different kind of oils. But it's the gas companies, Shell, BP, Exxon. They're literally taking advantage of us. It's 40% down from the all-time high that we reached like a month ago. Why isn't the price of gas and diesel down 40%? It's literally pennies away from its all-time high. This should make you enraged. This makes me enraged. And remember, it's not just gas and it's not just diesel, it's everything. When you go to the grocery store and you see those sky high prices and you go to buy anything, you go to buy a pair of shoes, you go to buy anything, all that is really high because it had to get shipped to the store. It had to get shipped via a semi truck. And if it's made from overseas, it had to get shipped via a ship. And remember, the vast majority of stuff that is not food is just made overseas. It has been for years, for decades, okay? And that's not a Biden or a Trump thing. It's been made that way before Biden or Trump. So if you want to blame either of them, by all means go ahead. It's your own personal prerogative. But that's been going on for years, right? But the instant now thing to blame is the oil companies. Oil's down 40%, but they're still charging us maximum profit prices. It's literally appalling. This is where, things like this actually should happen. You see, like, Democrats unveil plans to issue quarterly checks to Americans by taxing oil companies posting huge profits, basically tax them on their profits that are over and above what they made in previous years. Remember, they're already making billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then something like this comes along, and now they're making massive billions of dollars more. And it's insane. It's insane. And there are literally members of Congress, as you can see right here, that have unveiled a bill. They have an actual bill in Congress to issue quarterly stimulus checks every 3 months by taxing the oil companies on their profits over and above and beyond their normal profits on the money that they're gouging people on because of this problem. Because of this problem. And it's really, really sad. Now, whether or not they go with that, or whether they go with these stimulus checks that they want to send to people that are car drivers, whether they send them out stimulus checks out to people with car registrations, or whether they send them out to regular stimulus checks to, just like they did last time around, $1,400 or something like that, to people that, just had the same income limits last time around. You can see here the White House is privately discussing sending checks to car drivers. This is because California is doing this as well. And we have a lot of different states discussing this or actually passing this. I just did a really big video on that. Um, so it's really just, and we also have this here. We have an actual proposal in Congress for $300 per month payments, which I think is actually a pretty good one, or the $1,400 stimulus check, which would be a really good one as well, because it just puts direct money, a big lump sum, right in people's pockets. Or $300 a month as well, because I like the idea that it's the same amount that went out for the child tax credits last year, which they need to pass that as well this year, because remember that millions of children have fallen back into poverty because, well, they haven't passed that this year as well. There's actually a new headline I have somewhere here as well. Yeah, here it is. Overwhelming majority disapproves of job Congress is doing. And well, I hate to say it, but if you're a Democrat, I hate to, slam one party, but the Democrats are the ones in control right now. It's a Democratic Congress. Biden himself is not in jeopardy right now. I mean, he's got all-time low approval ratings for himself, but he doesn't come up for re-election for another 2.5 years. But the House and the Senate are up for re-election in just a matter of months. And while even Senator Bernie Sanders himself has said that history shows that when one party controls the trifecta, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, if they don't put up or shut up, that they tend to lose the majority rather quickly. And based on new polls, that overwhelming majority disapprove of the job Congress is doing. So Democrats are going to have to really put up and make the people happy, because inflation is really, really bad right now. But again, it's bad across the world. I try to show people that, because people don't realize that. And again, I just try to paint the whole picture for everybody. But regardless, it's bad. Approval ratings for Biden is bad. Now we got the war. That's a really tough situation. The pandemic is still a tough situation. I said back when Trump was up for re-election, just that alone was tough for a president to get reelected. I still remember doing that video. A lot of people gave me criticism on that, and I said just when Trump was up for reelection that if I was a president and I was up for reelection, just having to deal with a new pandemic was a tough thing to deal with for reelection. A lot of people just aren't happy when they're in a pandemic, and now we're 3 years into a pandemic. It is just hard for a president to deal with that. Now you got a pandemic, you got record inflation, and you got a war that's not really here yet per se, but it is. It's affecting us all. So it's really hard out there for a president. And if Trump was in office, I'd be saying the same thing. It'd be hard for him too as well because really honestly, inflation would pretty much be the same. I mean, maybe if you're a Trump fan, you could say it would be a little bit lower, but as I show you, I don't like to pick sides, but inflation's just crazy around the whole world. So realistically, it'd probably be around somewhere around the same. I mean, maybe it's a little bit different, a little bit, but it realistically wouldn't be drastically different. I mean, you could just look at inflation all around the world. It's just literally everywhere. It's everywhere. Um, Gas prices and oil prices are crazy everywhere. So even with oil coming down, remember it fluctuates because literally next week it could be up sky high again. Even with oil coming down, guess what? The oil companies are just still gouging us to the hilt. So, I mean, you tell me. You tell me if gas prices would be lower, because it really doesn't matter. They're still just gouging us to sky high. So I guess the good news is the oil prices are coming down. So eventually, gas prices have to come down, right? Right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So I will keep you up to date here with everything you need to know about inflation, stimulus checks on the state level, the federal level, what they're doing in Congress, the Democrats, the Republicans. I'm going to tell you the truth here on both sides. And everything you need to know about on a daily basis. So make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see the video where we just announced $1,000 in giveaway winners. And my wife is in that video at the end of that video. It's a don't miss video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.